Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. I have Halloween decorations up all over my bookshelf, and it just makes you in such a good, happy, like, Halloween-y mood, which is wonderful. Who doesn't want to be in a good Halloween mood? I absolutely love the holiday seasons, but that's not why we're here. We are here to talk about all the books I went to read in October, which is a whopping number of 18 books. But we have mysteries, we have middle grade books, we have some witchy books, obviously, because I'm so into that, and then just some paranormal romances. I even have several new books on this TBR, so without further ado, let's start talking about them. Okay, I know everybody's probably interested in the new books that I got because I was so excited to get them in the mail and to pick some of them up in the store. But let's just go ahead and talk about middle grade first because they're always so cute, they're so sweet, they're so charming. This one is The Ghouls of Howlfair by Nick Tomlinson. And this cover is just so adorable. Like, the little ghosts have so much, like, character to them. I think it's so cute. So this one actually follows little Molly, and she suspects that the creepy legend of the legends of Howlfair are actually coming true this Halloween season. So her and her friends decide that they are going to be the monster hunters, and they are going to save their town from these legends and all these monsters and ghouls. And this also has a cute little mystery aspect because they think that someone in their town is actually summoning all of these mythical monsters, and they are determined to find out who and to send all these mythical monsters back to where they came from. This book sounds so cute and so sweet and so fast, and it just has like these little adorable little sign pictures that they have in it. I just love these little cute aspects of middle grade books, and I just think anybody can enjoy them no matter what your age. Our next one is actually a very popular middle grade book. This is Eva Evergreen's Semi-Magical Witch by Julie Abe. This one is so adorable. This one actually follows Ava, and she only has a pinch of magic. So she is only a semi-magical witch, and she has until she turns 13 to become a novice witch and have all of her powers. But in order to do that, she needs to help this coastal town with any of their problems. So she actually opens a little magical repair shop, and she's trying to help all these people that live in this town. But then she starts to fall asleep. So every single time she uses any of her magic, because she doesn't have very much of it, she just falls asleep and passes out. So this town just has no faith in her, but she has to prove to them that she is a full-blown witch and she is worthy of that title. So then the biggest magical storm in history is about to hit, and Eva Evergreen has to figure out how to save this town and see if her magic is enough to overpower this hectic magical storm. I think it sounds perfect just for this season, just because it's a witch and I love witches, so I'm super excited. I don't know if it's going to have like the fall vibes, but I think just being witchy and magical is going to give me those vibes. So this one is The Apprentice Witch by James Nichol. And this one sounds super cute and super different. This one is following, what is her little name? Arianne Wayne. Arianne Wayne? That's a hard name. Anyways, it's not about the name, guys. Just keep that in mind. You can pronounce it whatever way you would like. Anyways, so this follows Arianne Wynn. That just sounds so weird. I don't know. I'm probably saying it completely wrong. And she has failed her witch assessment, declaring her an apprentice. So she is sent to the town of Lowell. And The town of Lowell is starting to have strange things sighted in the woods, and these hexes are creeping through the town, and magical visitors are going there, and they're watching her and following her. So she decides that she's going to help this town by casting spells and banishing spirits, but the darkness begins to haunt all of her spells, and there might be more at stake for her and this town and her magic than she thought. I can't wait to jump into this one. This one seems like it's going to be super fast and super cute. I think this next one I actually want to read to my daughter when I take her to bed. This is called The Power of Poppy Petal by Natasha Lowe. And this book is actually a series. I actually do own the other ones, but this one follows Poppy, and she is a witch that loves to bake. And I absolutely love that. I love reading books about baking, and I love watching TV shows about baking. Earlier, we were watching the Halloween Baking Championships, and my daughters just love that. They just sit there and watch and see what creepy cakes and cupcakes and all these different things people can come up with out of just cooking, and it's super fun and entertaining to watch around this time of the year, which we love. So this one follows Poppy Petal, obviously, and she is a witch that loves to bake. But Poppy's parents don't think that she should be baking, and they want her to follow the normal tradition of using her powers for spells and flying, and she decides to go on her own path and take matters into her own hands and just do what she loves to do. And that just sounds so wonderful, and it has baking involved with it, so I just really think my daughter will love reading that one at bedtime because she loves reading books at bed. All right, let's get into a couple new ones because I know everybody's waiting for them. This book, isn't that beautiful? I just absolutely love that. So my roommate is a vampire. This book was on one of my most anticipated book releases of the fall, and I wanted this book so bad. I actually pre-ordered it because I just wanted it to get here. So this one follows Cassie, and Cassie Greenberg is an artist, but she's having tough times like most artists do. You get that like artist lifestyle where it's just really hard. So she is in the blink of getting evicted from her apartment. So she needs to figure out a new plan. And she finds a listing for a roommate like crazy, crazy cheap. So she absolutely jumps on that one. But Frederick is her new roommate, and he's super strange. She doesn't know what is up with him. He sleeps all day and is out all night on business. She thinks that he talks like a character in like a Regal romance book. So I think that's going to be super cute and a super like little twist of this book. And on top of that, he also leaves her cute little heart-melting notes around their apartment for her to find when he's sleeping. And I think that just sounds so cute. And he cares about how she feels and how her day goes, and he asks her about her art and how that's going. So she thinks that this is just absolutely perfect. Like, she's a roommate with someone that's like never there, and he leaves her all these notes and actually cares about what she's doing. And then she finds a bag of blood in their refrigerator. So she confronts Frederick, and he has to tell her that he is a vampire and that he actually has a proposition for her. So I think this is going to be super funny and super sweet at the same time. And I just can't wait to read that one. I think I'm going to jump into that one like one of the first books I read for October, because I just can't wait to read that one. This one actually came out last year, and everybody absolutely loved it that I saw. So I picked it up this year. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. Names. I don't know what it is. It's killing me, guys. It's killing me. So this one follows Micah, and Micah is a witch, but she lives in Britain, and she is actually an orphan. So she grew up hiding that she was a witch because it's just a secret. No one's supposed to know about witches, and because she didn't know who her mother and father were, it was kind of easier that way for her. And then when she grows up, she actually gets online and does this kind of stuff and actually just pretends to be a witch, casting her own spells that are actually working because she is in fact magical. And then someone contacts her over the internet and asks her to come and live in the remote, mysterious nowhere house and tutor 3 witches on how to control their magic. So she takes the job. She doesn't know what to expect. So then she moves into this house, and there's actually way more people living here than she expected. An absent archaeologist, a retired actor, 2 suffering caretakers, and Jamie the librarian. And she obviously is going to have this love interest with the librarian Jamie, which sounds so cute and so adorable. And then danger comes knocking on their door and threatens to take this newfound family away from her right when she starts feeling like this nowhere house could really be her new home. This one sounds super cute, and it sounds like it kind of goes into how she felt as an orphan without a family and without a home, and how she's just finding that in this actual magical place where she can actually say that she's a witch. And it just sounds super cute and super adorable, and it makes it sound like she can just be herself, and I absolutely love that. Everybody that I saw last year and even some this year like recommend that book still, and I just can't wait to get into it. It looks so good. Our next one is The Cafe Between Pumpkin and Pie, and this one is Marina Adair, Kate Angel, and Stacy Finns. And this is one of those books that has 3 different stories in it, but I actually read The Cafe Between, or The Bake Shop Between Pumpkin and Spice, and I actually really enjoyed that. It was 3 different stories all surrounding a magical bakery where if you eat the cookies, then you have a really high chance of falling in love. And that one was so good that I decided to pick up this one as well. So this one is 3 stories as well, but this one is where it promises that moon bright women will marry the man she sees reflected in a mirror on Halloween. So it still has that magical realism element that I really enjoyed with the first one, but instead of eating some food and falling in love, or eating a cookie and finding true love, this one is actually a little different, and they actually see the reflection. So I'm curious to see how that turns out. I wonder how they're going to go about that. Like if the woman sees the reflection of the guy and knows that she's supposed to be in love with him, or that she's going to marry him, but the guy doesn't know anything about it. Like, I'm curious how that's going to go, and if all 3 stories kind of flow seamlessly together like the first book did. Another new release that just came out that I found in stores actually is The Witch is Back by Sophie H. Morgan. This one I didn't really know much about going into it. I picked it up because it obviously was a fall-like, Halloween-like. It had witches. I thought the cover was super sweet and super cute, so I decided to just go ahead and buy it without really knowing. And then I started reading about it and got a little more excited. So this one is about Emma, and she's born into a society of witches that she feels like she just doesn't fit in with. And she stops fully caring about 7 years before, when her boyfriend that she was supposed to marry actually just up and leaves town and doesn't actually tell her why. So she decides to just go on living as a human and put that side behind her. She opens up her own Chicago bar called Toil and Trouble, and everything seems to be going really well until Bastian walks through the door and is determined to win her back after the 7 years. And this one I think is going to be super funny and super cute. Her familiar is actually this little goofy dog. She has a friend that's trying to put a hex on her ex-boyfriend, and she is going to figure out why he up and left, if she wants her witch life back. And it says a magical contracts aren't easily broken, but as far as Emma's concerned, not even a marriage of convenience will have her falling under Bastian's spell again. So I'm really curious to find out if it is like an arranged marriage that she had with Bastian because of this society of witches. And I can't wait to actually see how their second chance romance kind of blossoms back in. Another series that I actually picked up the first one of, and then I went ahead and bought the second one once I finished with the first one, is Spellbound Paranormal Cozy Mystery number 1, and then Spellbound number 2. So I actually found these, I don't even know how I came across this book, but it sounded so cute, so good, and I hadn't seen it anywhere. So I read the first one, and the first one is about a public interest lawyer named Emma, and she loses her way on this really remote road where she's going to meet a client, and she has this crazy chance encounter with a suicidal angel that actually lands her in Spellbound. So she goes off the road, sees this guy, he's about to jump off this cliff, and she decides to get out of her car and goes through this threshold from our world into Spellbound. So then, because she is a magical being, she can no longer come out of Spellbound. So it has like a protective, what do you call that? A protective, I keep thinking about Harry Potter. I don't know why. Like a seal, like the town is sealed off from the human world. So she no longer can come out, and she has to just forfeit all of her life that she once had. And she has to learn that she is actually a witch, and she has to start taking witch classes, which is super funny because she actually has to start back in like the first grade basically for witches. So she's with all these little kids that she becomes friends with. But then there is murder, and a local goblin is actually accused of this murder. And because the murder was the local lawyer, she gets to also fill that position and be Spellbound's new lawyer and try to help figure out if the goblin really did do this murder and try to get him off of the case. So, and then the second one that I'm going to hopefully read this fall is Doom and Broom. And this follows the same girl. Every book in the series follows Emma. But this one is just a murder of a werewolf, and all the fingers are pointing to one of her friends that she meets in this first book. This book is really just a paranormal cozy mystery. It was super fun to just read after a long day, just lay in bed and kind of try to guess what happened to these creatures in this paranormal land. And she's meeting like vampires, and she has a romance with one, and she is living in this house that used to be the lawyer's, which was a vampire, oddly enough. So she's trying to just redecorate it and make it feel like home, because all of the creatures of Spellbound are actually cursed to stay there for centuries and centuries. So she just gets stuck, and she has to make this new life for her in this paranormal world that she never knew existed, and solve a mystery at the same time. It's so good, guys. Our next one is something that I can't believe is still on my TBR, honestly. So Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas is a book that I feel like every single person has read, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. This one is follows a Latino family, and they have problems accepting Udriel? I don't know how to pronounce his name, guys. Anyways, they have trouble accepting his gender, so he is going to prove his family wrong. and become the best Bruja they have ever seen. So him and his best friend, that's also his cousin, decide to go to the cemetery and summon back their other cousin that was actually murdered. So instead of summoning their cousin, they actually summoned Julian, and he was the school resident bad boy. And Julian is not quite ready to just give up this world and go into the next world happily. So him and Yadriel, I cannot say his name. So they start spending time together, and then he tries to obviously help Julian figure out how he needs to pass over. But as they spend time together, they start to fall for each other. And you know how that's going to turn out with Julian being a ghost and Yadriel being a Bruja. And I really have not heard anything but wonderful, wonderful things about this book. So I really want to try to make this a priority this year, just because it came out, I feel like, so long ago. And it's been on my TBR for goodness forever. And I just cannot keep putting it off. Like, I really want to read this book. It came out in 2020. That's actually not that long ago. So I don't feel as bad that it's on my TBR still. Okay. Another book that I've talked about a couple times is The Hunting of Prince Dracula by Maniscalco. And she actually this is the second book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper. And I actually really love that one. That one follows Audrey Rose. And she is the father of a lord, and she's supposed to just be a lady and do her thing, but she decides to be kind of a rebel child, I guess, in this century, in this time frame. It's like the 1920s, I believe, and she decides that she actually wants to be a forensic scientist, I guess you would call her, and study corpse. So her uncle actually does corpse, and she actually tries to solve mysteries. And the first book obviously follows Jack the Ripper and his murders. So she is tangled up into that, and she becomes her uncle's apprentice along with Thomas. And they have an extremely slow burn romance. Like, it's slow, but it gets you. Because of being in the 1920s, you're like, okay, I understand. But you're like, come on now. Like, really. Anyways, so this one also follows Audrey Rose and Thomas in a different place following Prince Dracula. I can't wait to read it. I think I liked Stalking Jack the Ripper. I did. But I think Prince Dracula is going to be a little better for this time of the year. Our next new release is Meg Cabot's Enchanted to Meet You, a Witches of West Harbor novel. So I don't know. I have not figured it out yet. I probably should. If the Witches of West Harbor is like a different series and this is like a spin-off, or if you should read the other ones. I don't know, because I'm going to read this one because this one sounds so good. So this one follows Jessica, and in her teen years, she cast a spell that got her a bunch of extremely wrong attention. And that actually caused her to be taken off the World Council of Witches. So she was never able to get onto that council because of this spell that she cast. So then one day, tall, dark, and handsome Derek shows up in her little village of West Harbor and claims that Jess is the chosen one. And this is 15 years after her little teen year mess up. So she's super surprised. She doesn't understand why he thinks that she is the chosen one when he is on the World Council of Witches. So she is super surprised that she is the chosen one, but she does not really know what that means. So she is not actually chosen to be on the Council of Witches, but she is the chosen one to actually save West Harbor. And to do that, she has to work side by side with Derek. So they start spending the time together to try to save West Harbor. And as she decides that maybe they are starting to have feelings for each other, she finds out that maybe Derek isn't really who he says he is or who she thought he was. And suddenly just finds herself having to trust him, even though she doesn't know if she should or not, to take down this sinister force that's trying to take down West Harbor. I think this sounds super good. I think it's going to be kind of a fast read, honestly. But I think that the romance is going to be super good and super steamy. I haven't actually heard anybody read this book yet. So I don't know if it's like a steamy book, but I have a feeling that it might be. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but I am. And I just can't wait to read it. Another one that has been on my TBR a couple times. My bad, I'm sorry. I'm really trying to read it. Is Blood Like Magic by Leslie Sandbury. I think this one actually sounds perfect for this time of the year. I thought about reading it over the summer, and I decided that my life was too hectic, so I couldn't, obviously. But I decided to just put it off until this time of the year because I thought it would be perfect. This one follows Voya, and she is a witch that failed her calling trials, and every witch has to pass their trials in order to get their full powers. So she fails, and then she agrees for a second chance to do her trials, but in order to have her second chance, she actually has to kill the first boy she falls in love with. Otherwise, her entire family gets stripped of their powers. So she takes this second chance offered to her, and she either has to give up her entire family's legacy, or she has to fall in love, which she has never done before, and kill whoever she falls in love with. So this one just follows her trying to figure out how to give the elders that blood that they want without actually having to murder the first person she ever falls in love with. I can't tell you how excited I am for that one. I think it's going to be just so good. I don't know how she's going to get around that sticky situation, but I mean, she's a witch, and it's spooky, and it's kind of crazy, and I'm all game for it. The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston is another one of those books that, for one, has a Target sticker on it. Boo me. But that has been everywhere, and everybody seems to really, really love. So this one actually follows Florence, and she is a ghostwriter for the most prolific romance author in the industry. But she has a problem because she went through a horrible breakup, and she finally just decided that true love does not exist, and she cannot write and do her job the right way or the same way anymore because she just does not believe in love. And then her new editor, which is super handsome, but he does not want to give her an extension on her deadline for her writing. So she's super bummed. She thinks that this editor is going to just kick her to the curb, and she's going to have to just say goodbye to her career. And then she gets a call that she never expected to get and never wanted to get. She has to return home after several years of being gone and actually help bury her father. When she gets there, it has been 10 years since she's even stepped foot into her town and around her family. And even though she decides she actually missed those warm southern nights, and she misses her family, and she misses their funeral parlor, that she just can't return home for good. Until at her parents' funeral home that they own, she actually sees a very handsome ghost standing in the door. And he is just as confused as she is as of to why he is there and why he's with her. And then they kind of embark on this journey of trying to figure out how to help him pass over. And it actually, I mean, it tells you on the back that it is her editor. So it is her editor, but then he is still super into romance and super into true love. And that is what Florence doesn't have anymore. So when they take this journey, he is going to help her kind of figure out what love really is and what it actually means to her. I think this is going to be actually, I don't know. I really, really want to read this book, but I feel like it might actually be almost heartbreaking, like for them to take this journey and fall in love and then him to already be gone. It's kind of like Cemetery Boys, and I don't know. I love myself a happy ending. I don't know. I'm just that kind of girl. I'm a happy ending girl. The next one that is actually a brand spanking new is Playing the Witch card by KJ Del Antonia. And this one also has like this cute little bake stuff on it. And I just love little baking stuff. 3 generations of magic, 2 rogue exes, 1 tarot deck, and the perfect recipe for chaos. So this one is going to be so good. So this one follows Flare, and she knows 3 things. Magic is real, love isn't, and relying on either ends in disaster. So she is super grateful to get the chance to take over her grandma's Kansas bakery when she decides to finally leave her cheating husband, but she won't be embracing her Nana's fortune-telling hide hustle that is going to be a strictly no magic operation until an innocent batch of tarot card cookies that Flare bakes for the town Halloween celebration actually unleashes the power of the family deck, luring Flare's unpredictable mother to town, tempting Flare's magic-obsessed daughter, and bringing back Flare's first love while ensnaring her ex in a curse that she can't break. So Flare is attempting to control all this chaos, and everything's just going worse. She's trying to play a handful of powerful, playing right into the hands of a powerful witch. Suddenly, there's far more at stake than her situation as the most reluctant witch in town, and the magic Flare has long rejected becomes the only card she has left to play. This sounds so good. It's like a second chance romance. It's tarot cards. It's a curse. It's like it's like mother and daughter getting back together. It's a bake shop. It's her daughter finding magic and all this stuff, and her ex-husband coming back. I can't wait to read it. You guys should go and find it. Like, really. Okay, another one that came out last year that I didn't get to is Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. She actually has her second book in this series out, and it is called The Ex's Hex. Pretty sure, The Ex's Hex. So this one follows magicless witch Violet, and she wants nothing to do with the alpha wolf Lincoln, who broke her heart as a teenager. But they have a magic council that they have to follow the rules with, and it says that they have to find magical mates. So they actually decide to help each other out and give themselves a little extra time to find supernatural partners and decide to fake date. So I love a fake dating trope. I can't wait. But then their feelings start to reemerge along with Violet's magical powers. Long-held secrets are actually going to threaten their new chance at love. This one is going to be so good. I read like 3 chapters of this book before I just sat it down because I was getting too close to like the Christmas season, and I just decided to just put it off and wait for this year, and I cannot wait. I really want to get back to that one. Another one I've talked about a couple times is White Smoke by Tiffany T. Jackson, and she is supposed to be so good at twists, so I can't wait to read this one. I thought it would be good this kind of season because it's kind of a mystery. It's kind of a ghost story. I think it's going to be really great. This one follows Marigold, and she is running from ghosts. She is in a newly blended family, and she has a new 10-year-old sister, and her mom gets a new job in Cedarville, and a fresh start kind of seems what she wants, but she gets this free house, and this house has its own secrets. So Marigold thought she was running from ghosts in her old life, and now she's running from new real ghosts. And Piper keeps telling her things like her new friend doesn't want Marigold to be there, and she is determined to find out all of these secrets and figure out what secrets Cedarville has in store for her also. I think this one's going to be absolutely wonderful. I almost think it could be kind of creepy at times, but I'm just really, really intrigued by this ghost story that she has going on and kind of seeing what that twist is going to be. Our last but certainly not least book is going to be Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. This one is set at a retirement home with a group of 4 friends that really, really love true crime, and they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club because they meet on Thursdays to go over some true crime podcasts and true crime events until a local developer winds up dead, and this group of friends thinks that they can solve this case faster than the police. This book has so many books in the series, and I think all of them sound absolutely wonderful, but obviously I'm going to start with the first one, and I can't wait to get to the first one because it's been on my TBR and my radar for a little while, and I really want it to kind of remind me of Only Murders in the Building with Selena Gomez on it, and I just started watching that one again on Hulu, and because the new season is out, and it's making me really want to lean towards that book this season. Otherwise, that is all we have, you guys. That was like 18 books, and I'm really shooting for at least 15 books per month for my reading. So I have some options, and I can't wait to read them because I absolutely love this time of year. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!